I want to bring everybody to the table of confession, the table of testimonies, the table of faith, the table of challenges. How can we come together as one and not only understand one another, but teach, grow with each other? Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Kay's Corner podcast. Geez Louise, I know you guys probably want to pull my hair out and ask me where I've been. I know it's been some time since I've sat in this chair with my mic in my hand, and I honestly think I needed time to experience life a little bit more, experience my life and who I am as a person before sitting back behind this mic and being able to give my testimony or give out advice or to even understand other people and what they're going through. Um, no one can ever pour from an empty cup, and my job on this earth and just between me and myself is to continue to pour into my cup so that I can pour into other people's cups. It's what I live for. Where have I been? I'm sure everyone is very curious about this question. I've definitely been in the middle of growing mentally and emotionally. Um, Becoming a woman is not always easy. It's not easy. Um, I'll speak for myself and I won't speak for other women, but I've learned that because of our emotions, we kind of tend to think that it's the end of the world, or we kind of spiral out. And it's a huge thing on how to control your emotions, and not just for the sanity of other people, but for the sanity of yourself. And it's uncomfortable. It's hard. It's a challenge for myself. And I can only imagine for anyone else in this world, it is always a challenge between you and you. It's how we overcome it. And in the mix of taking this time out from my podcast, that's exactly what I've been doing, learning how to control my emotions, go through my emotions, and how to mentally remain okay. Life is hard, and people assume that they're not okay in the worst times of their life. But again, it's all a mental, I don't even want to say game. It's all a mental challenge, and it's all about getting to know yourself and what works and fits best for you. So definitely growing mentally and emotionally. Um, I want to say overthinking content, but I think it's more of putting too much on my plate. I have so many ideas, I have so many topics. But one thing that I've realized most importantly, especially with bringing guests onto my podcast, I love it. I adore it. And I love it for you guys too. Um, but I think I got a little overly excited about having guests that I got distracted from my own story. And that's the whole point of today's podcast, is definitely reintroducing the purpose of my podcast. And through, again, not overthinking, but just over analyzing how to go about my podcast and how to go about these topics. Um, and then life experiences. It all taught me about what I'm most passionate about and the meaning of what I'm most passionate about. And the meaning of this podcast, I want it to become somewhat and somewhere that's a safe place for real conversation, real connections about growth, about relationships, about confidence, accountability, healing, the things that people feel most uncomfortable about, or the things that people don't really know how to conversate about, especially when you're surrounded by people that don't really have the same mindset. You tend to think, oh, I'm the only one thinking this way. I'm the only one moving this way, but you're very much not. And that's the purpose of my podcast, really on a faith base as well. As I have my Bible literally sitting right next to me. I really don't want to fall into the podcasting world of gossiping, um, of rumors, of encouraging or enabling the things that society already struggles with. I want to bring everybody to the table of confession, the table of testimonies, the table of faith, the table of challenges. How can we come together as one and not only understand one another, but teach, grow with each other? Um, and that's so important to me. And I just want to reiterate that and reintroduce my podcast, the purpose of my podcast, of all those conversations, but for everyone to also understand the faith base of this podcast. I do believe it's something I'm genuinely passionate about, but I also believe this is one of my callings. I am called to come to you guys with my story, with my testimony, with my pure honesty. And that's the space that I want to have for not only myself, but for you guys as well. And in order to do that, I need to be consistent. So I apologize for the long wait, but yes, we are back here in Kay's Corner, and that is the purpose of this episode, is to reintroduce my podcast to you guys, to understand what the meaning is of this podcast. And I got to say, a whole year flashed before my eyes. I mean, around this time I was having guests on my podcast, I was actively posting episodes on YouTube, shorts on YouTube, sorry. And I just want to get back into that aura. I miss it. I miss motivating people, inspiring people, and I miss doing what I'm most passionate about. So, through time sitting down with myself, I have realized that growing emotionally, growing mentally, growing spiritually, thinking of content that benefits not just me, but benefits you guys as well. And then again, life experiences, you know, even through the great experiences, the bad experiences, I always take a step back and look at what the lesson is. How can I grow from this? And this year I've took a break on my podcast, I've taken a break on school, and that's just the pure honesty of letting you guys know that sometimes life gets overwhelming. Sometimes you just want to put your back against the wall and scream. We are all human. And speaking for myself, I am only human. And although last year was a year of traveling, it was a year of school, a year of my podcasting, there was a lot of fun things going on. But the truth of life is that it's not always that way. That's just how I choose to cope and go through things, is just to kind of say, what's next? What's in store for me? How can I learn from this? How can I grow from this? How can I become a better person, a better woman, a better child of God? And through all of these experiences in the past year, I've been able to sit back and be like, okay, what are we doing here? What do we want? What am I capable of? And there's so much in store for me to kind of just sit back and get comfortable with the fact of, I'm okay with this. And back to one of my early podcasts is procrastination. And I still struggle with it. And the saddest part of procrastination this year was putting my podcast on hold. Okay, because during that time, so much could have happened. But that's another thing. I can't look back and say should have, could have, would have. It's just, how can I move forward and how can I be better? How can I do better? How can I set an example for other people in this world, for my siblings, for my family, for myself? And most importantly, how can I be a better child and woman of God? And I can only experience life and go through these things to understand. It's all a learning journey. And that's why I continue to call myself a child of God, because a child is always learning and always growing. And that's exactly what I'm doing. So, although I'm a grown woman, I will always be a child of God. I'm always learning how to cut off bad habits. I'm always learning how to put things that shouldn't be prioritized aside and to actually accomplish the goals and priorities that I have placed for myself. There's a standard for me. I don't have expectations for myself, but I do have standards. And I believe that goes with friendships, that goes with relationships. You cannot move around in this world and have standards for other people when you don't have standards for yourself. And so, I guess, yeah, through this past year, I've really dedicated my time into growing, but to also realize that just because things are great in the moment doesn't mean that you stop and get comfortable. There's always more to do. My mother even taught me that as a kid. You know, I'd finish my chores and I'd be sitting around, find something to do. Find something to do. If you are bored or you are stressed in life, the change starts with you. It starts with me. The more that I sat away from my podcast, the more that I sat away from the gym, the more that I thought about how I want to go back to school. How can I just sit there and be like, I want, I want, I want. I need, I need, I need. And then you sit in your own comfortability. And that's when you realize, when you're too comfortable in life, life shouldn't always be comfortable. Life shouldn't always be easy. It is a challenge, and it is continuous with accomplishments. Just because I accomplish 4 things doesn't mean I'm going to chill out and not accomplish the other 4 things. I have to keep going. And that is the biggest thing that I learned this year is do not put things on hold. Get up and do it. Get up and continue to do it. The more that you do something for yourself, just like we create bad habits for ourselves, we can do the same thing in a great way and create great habits for ourselves. And it's all about challenging you. It's all about challenging myself. So, with all of that being said, I really have to say, with my personal reflection, I would honestly and truly, me being the most honest that I can be, is balancing my faith, balancing my emotions, and balancing growth. And it's hard. It is hard. We are only human. We are only human, and there's so much going on in today's society that makes it 10 times harder. Whether it's gas being up to $5, whether it's rent being over $3,000, or a house mortgage, or having a child, or trying to finish school and you have all these loans out, um, or you feel like the world is crashing and then you become negative or create a negative mindset. So controlling your or I shouldn't say controlling, more balancing your faith, your emotions, your growth. I'm huge on taking inventory. I don't just read my Bible, but I also have a journal. And although I don't write in it every day, especially when the days that are feeling overwhelmed or I feel stressed or I feel like everything is crumbling at once, I only have a brain. So I choose to reflect in this. And honestly, I was going through my journals the other day, all the way back from 2024, and the growth is insane. It's huge. It is huge to take inventory of the things that are going on in your life, your emotions, your challenges, your greatness, things that you are able to celebrate. Um, there's always so much going on in life. And I, this past year, have definitely realized, a year just like that. And that's when I really take a step back and I self reflect spiritually, emotionally, mentally. It is so important to take inventory. From 2024, I went to struggling with my faith, struggling with getting a car. I just got out of, I had just gotten out of a relationship. I just overcame a horrible accident that completely took me off my feet with fitness, with driving. There was so much going on in 2024. Then 2025 comes around. I start seeing the growth, seeing me go from wanting to go to school to starting school, me wanting for so long to start a podcast to starting a podcast and having guests on my podcast, traveling, and then 2026. It's a mix of both. There's been some downfalls and there's been greatness. But through it all, taking inventory, I can always look back and see my growth. Sometimes I don't spend life in the moment. And by the time I knew it, a year had passed by. And it's just like now I have to sit and self reflect on everything that has happened or everything that is going to happen, everything that I have planned for. And I can say that I'm proud of myself. I can say that I'm going to continue to fight for myself, continue to love myself so that I can have a full cup, so full to the point that I can continue to pour into other people. That is what I'm here for. I'm here to pour into my cup and pour into other people's cups. I'm not looking for validation. I'm not looking for reassurance. I'm looking to be the best me that I can possibly be. And life isn't always easy. I'm not always in a holly jolly mood. My favorite saying is, I'm so happy I'm farting rainbows. There's days where I'm not farting rainbows. There's days where I want to put my back against the wall and put my hands up and say, I give up. But it's just not in me. And no matter how hard life can get, I just find a way how can I? And I almost don't give myself a choice to relight that fire that's inside of me. And it's the best feeling ever, knowing that you're in control of your own emotions. You're in control of your spiritual journey. You're in control of your growth. And it feels good to be in control. And I've struggled with being in control of everything But then it comes to a point on how can I control myself. And so moving forward, I definitely want you guys to be reminded of the purpose of my podcast, again, talking about accountability, healing, faith, relationships, growth, accountability, procrastination, just literally everything that can be relatable, but that we also can grow from, that we can understand, that we can know that this has happened, this might happen, but this is how we're going to go about it. This is the faith that we're going to bring into our own lives and into other people's lives. How can we grow together? How can we be better together? And I really got to say the base and foundation of everything in my life, because this is a blessing, this podcast. The roof over my head is a blessing. My siblings, my parents, everything in my life is a blessing. And I am to thank the Lord for that. I literally cannot complain no matter how hard life gets, because I'm just blessed. I'm blessed all around. I'm blessed to be sitting behind this microphone, to be able to share my story. I'm just blessed and I'm thankful. And I can only continue to grow through this podcast. It helps me to understand myself better. It helps me to unmask myself a little bit more and self reflect a little bit more. And it's an amazing feeling. And I can't wait to continue this journey with you guys. I cannot wait for my next episode. Um, I'm just very excited. I was almost nervous to sit in this chair and sit behind this mic because I haven't spoken to you guys in so long, but just know it's always great things. Life may not be great all of the time, but regardless of the good and the bad, just know from the bottom of my heart, I'm always looking at the greatness of things. I'm always looking on how to learn from things and grow from things, from spiritual, mental, emotional. I'm just, I'm so ready to see what the future has in store for me. And I'm a huge person where tomorrow or next year isn't promised. And me taking a break from my podcast for almost a year, like, next year is not promised for me. Tomorrow's not promised to me. So I want to dedicate my time, my love, my growth, my faith, my testimony. I want to dedicate it to not only myself, not only to this podcast, but to you guys as well. Just know that you will be okay. There is greatness to come. And if you are going over a couple of bumps and they may feel like you're speeding over a speed bump and it's just like boom, 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 everything is temporary. And pain is temporary, life is temporary. So, in the mix of it all, try to be in the moment, try to enjoy it, try to find the greatness in things, even whether it's the people who have hurt you or the trauma that you've been through. Take that and grow from it, learn from it. Ask yourself, how can I be better? How can I do better? And I know people think it's easier said than done, but the first step is recognizing it, and the second step is moving. Just move. Just keep going. Do not stop. Do not take the time out to realize what's going on. Take the time out to realize your emotions. Take inventory of everything that goes on into your life, especially your emotions, especially your trauma, especially the great things that happen. So that when a bad day comes, you can look back in your inventory book and be like, you know what? Life gets better. I've been through worse. And that's literally how I move through each life. I've moved through each life, moved through each chapter of my life. Just knowing that there's going to be speed bumps. Just preparing for those speed bumps. Reassuring yourself, self-affirmation, so that when you do have a hard day or there's a boom, 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 boom happening to you and it's just coming your way, on how you can dodge those things and find a better outlet to take, a better path to take. When you take inventory of the things in your life, or of your emotions, it's easier to navigate through life. I promise you. And self-reflecting on yourself rather than going to other people, 100 other people for reassurance. Um, it's just so much better when you sit with yourself and you go through the emotions. You go through the motions. You go through whatever you're feeling. The only way to get out is to go through it. And that's the biggest lesson I've learned this year, is to keep going. And so, yeah, So this past year, I've been growing spiritually, mentally, emotionally. I've been trying to balance my faith, my emotions, my growth through life. There's some days where I'm very hard on myself and it stops me from doing things like my podcast. But again, that's what I realized. You can't stop. You can't stop what you're doing, especially the things that make you feel the best, especially with things that you are passionate about, that you know you're good at, that you know will make change in this world. And I'm just so excited to continue with this journey. I can continue on with this podcast, but this podcast episode is dedicated to reintroducing the purpose of this podcast, reintroducing myself, and just to let you guys know moving forward, I'm so excited. I'm going to try my best to at least post 2 episodes a week, and I'm so excited to share more with you guys. Just know this year has been a roller coaster, but I am here. I am here to share with you guys. I'm here to be honest with you guys. And I'm most importantly here to grow with you guys spiritually, emotionally, and mentally. We got this. You got this. Let's do this. And I can't wait for the next episode. So until next time, much love.